Hey, welcome back to Don't Run with Scissors. I'm Kelly, your favorite Jeep driving mom of twins, 3 crazy dogs, who likes to craft, training for Iron Man, and has gone back to school to learn ASL, to be a sign language interpreter. Welcome to my show. If you're new here, welcome. Go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. It costs you nothing, but what it does is it sends me a message and it boosts my self-esteem when I get that message. And don't we all need a boost of self-esteem? If you're returning here, welcome back. Welcome to the crazy. You know what you're in for. Okay. So one day that back wall will get painted. Today is not the day. One day, though, you're going to come to my channel. I'm going to be sitting here, and the wall is not going to be this crazy retro wallpaper, and you all are going to be in shock. Again, today, not that day. Next week, probably not going to be that day either. But one day, we can dare to dream. We are gearing up towards the end of the semester, getting a little nutty this week on the 22nd. So since it is the day after Easter, which reminds me, our sign of the day is what? Well, our sign of the day is Easter. You're going to do E hands in both hands, and you're going to kind of make little circles, Easter. So happy, which we've done several times, happy. You're going to happy, Easter. I've decided that I'm going to go on a mission in the next week or so, and I'm going to learn some signs for Jewish holidays. Because while we know Hanukkah, we did learn Hanukkah, that is the only Jewish sign I know. And that's not good. So I'm going to learn. I'm going to make it a mission, because Hanukkah is not, despite popular belief, Hanukkah is not a major holiday in the Jewish faith, based on what I've learned from my friends. So yeah. Okay. So what have I done this last week? Well, it has been a crazy busy week. As always, welcome to my world. My world is always full of busyness. However, I reached a breaking point last Thursday, and I actually spent the hour, rather than with my nutritionist, who's also got some therapy background and whatnot. And her belief is that the food that we eat is not like, it's very easy for me or for anybody to say, okay, I should be eating this. But that doesn't translate. For most of us, that doesn't translate into what we're actually eating. And like, really and truly, I've taken enough like online courses here and there and through school that I could give basic nutrition information to like my clients who are, that I'm training. I'm not a registered dietitian though. And so, but it doesn't translate into what I know better. I know not to eat a whole bag of like the robin's egg Easter candy, but I have when I'm stressed out and stuff. And so her thinking, and the way she approaches her nutrition clients is that you have to deal with the underlying reasons why. Like how you were raised and your relationship with food. And until you start addressing that, no diet's really going to work, or no lifestyle changes aren't going to work. At some point, you're going to get frustrated. You're going to kind of throw the towel in, and you're going to revert back to your old habits. This makes sense. So I spent the hour, and I'm like, literally, like, I'm at a breaking point. I can't keep going at the pace that I'm going. And she's like to the point where like I can't even, I couldn't even write down kind of what I needed to get done and sort of put them in a priority, because I was looking at my table and I was overwhelmed, and I was looking at this and I was overwhelmed, and it was just like, I'm like, I just want, like, I'm looking into part of my living room, and the wall is half painted. And those little things are like adding up and really weighing on me. And she's like, wait a, and I'm like, and as we're talking, I'm trying to add more and more stuff to my schedule. And she's like, this makes no sense. She's like, why is it that you, and I had virtually the same conversation on Friday with my therapist. She's like, and both of them are like, okay, we need to unpack this. Like, why is it that I can't just sit still and relax? And even like the things that I was finding relaxing to do after bedtime to kind of unwind, I'm not getting that same. And so like my therapist challenge was to I have to develop kind of a bedtime routine to sort of unwind and stuff, because I haven't been sleeping well, and like I'm still struggling. Like I have till the end of the week. I don't know what the hell. Like I'm trying. I have started like little things like, okay, at 10 o'clock, work and schoolwork is no more, because I was staying up till like 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning trying to get more and more done. At night, I write out my things to do list for the next day, and I limit it. Like I only have like I have 10 spaces on my list max, and one of them has to include my workout, because that's important to me, and that's the first thing that I seem to be giving up in trying to do everything for everybody else. On that list, no more than 2 things can be for like friends, which sounds horrible, but like I'm helping 2 friends with businesses. So when I say like 2 things for friends, it's not like I can only go out to dinner and make a phone call. Like that's not what we're talking about. Like I'm saying, like, I can't write your description for your business website if I've already committed to making business cards for another friend's business and something else for their, like, reviewing a document for a friend, like as a helpful friend thing. Because I'm getting pulled way too many ways. So we're working on it. It's a work in progress. Aren't we all a work in progress? So, she did, we sat down. I did accomplish just about everything off my little list. What I have started doing in order to keep it small and workable, and so that like I can literally I can stick this in my pocket. Because most of the clothes that I'm wearing every day now are either, honestly, they're leggings. I wear a lot of leggings, or they're little dresses or shirts that I've made. And if I've made them, they have pockets, because I don't make anything like shirt wise or dress wise that does not have pockets. That is a rule for me. Always pockets. So these are easy. They're just discreet. I can stick them in my bigger planner if I need to, or I can just grab it and go, and like I write my grocery list if I need to pick up things from the store. I write those on one side. I'm a file. I realize, first of all, I'm a paper planner, although I'm trying to find a tablet program that I like. But I think if I do a tablet program, which is fine, I'm going to need a bigger tablet screen than this. But this is I've gone back to basics that I know work for me, and there's no sense in me trying to necessarily reinvent something that may or may not work when I know inexpensive, I use 4x6 instead of the 3x5 file cards work just fine. I don't have to, again, I love my happy planner. I work when I remember, but it was getting to the point where I didn't have the extra space on my table to have the happy planner and to have this, where this, I literally, it fits right on my keyboard. It's easy. So there's a helpful tip. If you need a helpful tip and you're trying to organize your day, use a file card. Use a file card. I'll even send you some of mine because I buy them in bulk through the Amazon. I love my Amazon. As we all know, I am an Amazon junkie. That said, though, I still do for my, and now I have my therapy homework because they kind of overlap. I signed the release so that my therapist and my nutritionist can talk to each other. Scary. So I write that stuff in here. And in the front, don't ask me why it's in here, but it's in here and it works for me. Maybe because I look at it like, but I have my Whip Go board on the front cover taped in and stuff. So, two phrases that have become key this last week is that I need to have an unwavering commitment to myself, and that I am a priority. Because I think, and I think that goes for a lot of us, is that we don't prioritize ourselves. And it's one thing, oh, you need to put yourself first. Okay, but what does that mean to you? And for me to prioritize myself means that I take the time to meal prep, that I take the time to prep meals or snacks for the day, that I make my workout a priority that doesn't waver. Like, I'm sorry, I can't do that unless you want to go to the gym and work out with me. And then we can talk and spend time doing that. But my workouts are a priority just as much as anything else. And then my 5 value words, I got a whole list from my nutritionist. So my 5 value words that resonate deeply with me and should be the guiding force in decisions in my life. She gave me like 300 words, and these are the 5 that I have. Connectedness, a lot of that, like I want to feel connected to the people and to my family and friends, and it's the family that I choose to define as family. I mean, yes, my kids, obviously, but like I have a lot of really dear friends that I honestly consider family. They're just like sisters. They're better than sisters because I picked them. So connectedness is very important when I make decisions. A sense of security. I want to feel safe. I want to feel secure in, like, financially secure. I want to feel secure in my home. I want to, like, those sorts of things. A sense of wholeness, like that I am enough. I'm whole. Like I'm not less than. I'm a whole being. My health and my happiness. And those are my 5 words that resonate. My dog apparently resonates with those words too. She's kind of a goofy little, she's a big girl. She's my big girl. Yes. And Maisie the princess. Oh, and there's Nigel the butthead. Nigel is my grumpy old man dog. So, okay, so we've learned Easter for our sign of the day. We've now learned that, yeah, I've reached my breaking point, which I'm sure all of you guys were all not waiting for. That sounds really bad, and that's not what I mean. But aren't overly surprised to hear that I do have a limit where I like literally, so yeah, so I finally mailed the package off to Jason with 99 bottles. I cannot wait to re-dye fabric to start that one again, but that's gonna wait. I did a couple other things. I have been working on getting my table a little bit more, and so one of my things was I needed to get more space on my table, and I got a couple things done. I got a mediation summary sent over. Come to find out, the opposing counsel hasn't sent in hers, and the deal is if you don't get them in like the week before, the mediator may or may not read them. So the secretary, I was like, look, I'm really sorry. I should have had this to you before. It was like 5:30 on Friday, on an Easter weekend. So I felt horrible. And Colleen, her secretary, and I love this attorney. Like, if I have to go to mediation with anybody, she's always my first pick. She's very logical, she's very fair, and she's like very direct about things, which is totally my style in my approach to a lot of things as well. So Colleen writes me and she's like, no problem. Like, she's like, you're one of the few that always gets the mediation summary to me beforehand, like the week before. Like I'm never like, it would be weird if I had to track yours down. And I was like, yeah, I still feel bad. She's like, don't feel bad. She's like, honestly, we have mediation at 1:30 today, and I have to call counsel looking for this. I was like, if I was Lori, I'd tell them pound sand. I wouldn't read it, which is horrible. But unless you have a valid excuse, that's not something that's acceptable. Um, Now, are they going to get great mediation with Lori? Yes. I honestly, I've never even had a client walk out of mediation with Lori and not been happy with the resolution. And that's the goal. Like, like they feel like they got fair, they got listened to, they got heard, they got what they ultimately wanted and didn't have to give up a ton of stuff. Like, so, and I always, and part of that is I prep my clients, hey, this is what we can expect. We're going to go in asking for this, but if we walk out with this is really what we're aiming for. So anything above that is a bonus. Okay. So, I also am doing I call it my TED Talk this week. On the 22nd, I think it's Friday. Now I'm worried that Friday, yes, on Friday. Whew, got a little nervous there. On Friday. So, I call it my TED Talk. It is my like motivational talk about peer mentoring at my college. So crazy. Like I started off this year where I had some solid plans as far as like my stitching and other things. But ultimately I had told myself I'm going to say yes to opportunities as they unfold because I never know where they're going to lead. And that's kind of the approach that I took on a lot of things. And some really cool doors have begun to open. And so that's really excited, although I'm totally freaking out about Friday. But that's Friday and that's after mediation, so one step at a time. So, okay. Deep breaths, because as you know, we're now almost 18 minutes in and we haven't talked about stitching. I have a boatload of haul. I don't typically have a boatload of haul. So, yeah. So let's talk about haul first. As probably all of you by now know, the owner of Fire Poppies has decided to close her store, and it's not a bad reason why. I'm totally excited for her. I'm a little bummed because the thought of another needlework shop closing is always sad. I have never been to Fire Poppies in person. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure that I've actually purchased online from Fire Poppies. I hear everybody talking about it. I think I have. I think I bought like a pattern or something. But in her sale, she did obviously flosses were on sale and I went a little crazy and I got my order in and I have them all kind of organized. I think they're well, okay, these little metal rings have been like I need to get some more of these. So I bought a bunch of hand dyes because I have not really, I have a few that I've used for patterns, but really and truly I usually do the DMC conversion because DMC is quick and accessible and really inexpensive. And so I don't have to worry about taking a whole lot of money out of my family budget about it. And, I can do other things like take more classes because, Okay, so I got my floss order in and this ended up being about $80, but there's, as you can tell, there's quite a few there. A lot, I got some Weeks Dye Works, and they're just beautiful colors. To go through them one by one, I think is kind of crazy. You can kind of get the point. And then we also have Classic Colorworks and Gentle. Let's see, there's Classic Colorworks is right there. So those are really pretty. It has become very clear to me that when I pick colors, I very clearly have a favorite color palette that I work with. I tried to branch out. I really and truly did. And there are some in here that you're like, not a normal Kelly, but that's a very Kelly palette right there. Um, and then I got a lot of gentle arts. And a couple of these you'll look at them and go, that would be Kelly branching out. I'm trying. But you know, they're still really and truly that that's just it's when you look at it, it's still a very beachy vibe. So yeah, so lots of those. I I think most of them, if you guys are watching Georgia Girl Stitches, she's doing the big, it's like a Quaker, but she's doing it like in a beach vibe. I think that's kind of what my thought was for a lot of these, was that that was going to end up, I'm going to take her idea, obviously, and make it a little bit more my own. Because I don't have her exact colors, and that's okay because, you know, life is short. Okay, so we did that, and then, dun, dun, dun. Oh, I gotta make a note in that. Okay. So, um, if you follow, her name is Katie. I don't remember what her Flosstube is, and I'll be honest with you, I don't remember what her Instagram is, even though we've talked several times. She finished her Lady of the Flag, and as you guys know, Lady of the Flag is, I have a bootleg copy that I bought that was a PDF, and you had to kind of piece it together and whatnot. And I've been working from it and stuff, but I felt bad. Katie was willing to work with me and let me make payments, and she sold her Lady of the Flag for what she bought it for. And I was able to procure Lady of the Flag, the real copy, from the Mirabilia. I'm going to go make my working copies of this. I'm trying, so here's my thought process. I think that what Lady of the Flag prices are going for is obscene. Absolutely obscene. And so this is not a pattern I'm going to sell. I absolutely won't. Like, I'm sorry. I love you guys, but I have no intentions of selling this pattern ever. However, I think that more average people who can't rationalize spending $200, and I did not pay $200. Did I pay a whole hell of a lot? Yes. Did I spend $200? No. Thank God. But I don't think that the average cross stitcher or the average person can afford to spend that much on a pattern. Nor should they. In all fairness, that's okay. So I need to come up with a way where I will loan her to somebody. But my concern is that I don't want her to get damaged or lost or not returned just because somebody decided not to be 100% honest. Which that is why, honestly, like I'm a little terrified. However, I want to find a way where I can sort of loan her out to my stitchy friends. So I am totally open to ideas. Like, so if you have a way for me to do that, like, I don't know if it's, maybe we meet and you make a working copy, because clearly we're all going to be working off a working copy. Then okay. So yeah, but Katie also was generous enough to send me her extra beads. Now I'll need more, obviously, but she had made Lady of the Flag a project bag and a little bag. I don't know, and she sent me those as well, and I just thought that was super sweet of her. So that is my big haul. She even left her little tag on it. So that is my big haul. And then I, in an effort to clear off my desk, I have several bags cut out, but I had not sewed them. So yesterday I sat down, I got 3 of them sewed. They're not perfect, but you know what? They work for me. So, and I have several more in the process. So those are my big effort to clear a path. So now that I have my first unicorn piece pattern, my next unicorn pattern that I am searching for is by it's by the primitive jewel. It is out of print, sadly, and I have been searching high and low for it and have had no luck. And I learned about this pattern, if I can find it again. Here we go. From Michelle Garrett, who is Bendy Stitchy. And it is, again, it's by the Primitive Needle. And it is Quaker Banana Fob. Quaker Banana Fob also has a friend called Quaker Pear. Quaker Pear Fob. And I think there's a Quaker Apple Fob. I would really like to track down to be able to stitch, even if it's just to borrow the pattern to stitch, the Quaker Banana and really the Quaker Fob, the Quaker Pear. So that goes on my list. So, you know, if you happen to have Quaker Banana around and would be willing to loan her to me, I would be forever appreciative. I would quickly stitch it and send it back to you. So yeah. So this reminds me though, I need to make a note on this. This is Monopoly. I am going to be working on that for my son starting soon. I realized I left off harmonica. And I wanted to include harmonica. Kazoo definitely has to go on there. The story on the kazoo with my son, I bought a 99-cent kazoo because my son was playing the instruments all day and night. It was driving me nuts. So I went on a mission. I was like, fine, I'll play instruments too. Can't read a note of music. I literally went to college, my undergrad. I had a choir scholarship, y'all. I can't read a note of music. None. I've tried. Can't do it. I am one of those. If you play my piece, though, like if you play what I need to sing, I can nail it. But if I have to look at the music and tell you what I'm supposed to sing, never gonna happen. What are you chewing on now, Nigel? This dog. This dog. I'm telling you. So I bought a kazoo, 99 cents at the local music store. I can play the kazoo. I mean, who can? Okay, but the kid who can play the French horn can't play kazoo. Can't figure it out. I find that so funny. Like, I can't even begin to tell you how funny I find that. So I won't tell him how to play the kazoo. Now, the kid, literally, you probably could Google it. It wouldn't be a big deal. Like, but he hasn't. And I find it absolutely hysterical. Just so we're all clear, absolutely hysterical. Okay, so here's the other thing. If you are, like, I also sew, obviously. And I have some sewing that I need to do for Bean. I bought some custom print fabric from Wanderlust Designs, who makes beautiful fabric. And it is like butter to wear. And it lasts. And so she's done a line where she had a Jeep, and it's a red Jeep. So clearly I had to buy it because it's a red Jeep. And then they also did pangolin. And Bina's going to laugh at me when I pronounce this and she sees this, but it's axolotl. It's this little sea creature. And she likes them. She likes both those animals. And they did this custom run and she really liked them. So I bought the panel to make her a shirt, and I bought the matching coordinating fabric to make the shirt, and I have enough to even do a pair of leggings for each. So I wanted to double check her measurements because the last time I've sewed her something, it's been a while, and you know, our bodies change and whatnot, and she's still at that age where her body's changing. So I wanted to double check. So I wrote down her measurements. I was like, oh, you're an hourglass, which I kind of figured she was. Like, just knowing body shapes and stuff, I figured she was an hourglass. And she's, you know, she's very healthy weight. She's got a great figure. My daughter's cute. And so I need to, the Jeep shirts obviously are for me. They're mine. All things the Jeep. So I thought, all right, I'm taking my measurements, and I've always said I was an apple. Well, turns out I'm not. I'm an inverted triangle. Whatever. They're kind of close. Anyways, so I'm like, great, I'm an inverted. And Bean says, so what you're telling me, Mom, is that you're a tiny tornado. I, from now on, will refer to my body shape as tiny tornado. And my self-esteem went up 20,000 degrees. I am a tiny tornado. And if that is not the best descriptor of somebody's body, it's amazing. It's amazing. So I am a tiny tornado. So yeah, which is funny. So this is the sign for tornado, which we learned last week. And I came home and I said, I was in the back of the house and Bean was up front. I said, hey, Bean, I learned the sign for tornado. And my son was on Zoom or something with his friends, and he says, y'all, I might have to let you go. Apparently there's a tornado. Some days, you know, I love my son, but I really hope he marries well. Because. So, okay. So, Lady of the Flag was my whip go pull, but I was waiting for the. I am going to work my 10 days on her this month. I still have time to work 10 days. But I was waiting for the real pattern to come in and try and figure out where I was on my pattern. So I did not work this weekend on that. But we had a no new starts, like bank stitches, and I wanted to work on that. But the deal with that one is you could only work on one whip all weekend. And I was like, shit, what do I do? I could keep working on Jeep Van Gogh, but I reached my 10 days, and that does not mean, excuse me, that I won't keep working on Jeep Van Gogh. I just kind of wanted to stitch something different. I have worked quite a bit on Jeep Van Gogh, and I just kind of wanted a break. And I was flitting back and forth. Do I start Monopoly for my son? I don't think once I sit down and actually start working on Monopoly, I don't know that it's going to take me a ton of time. But that is famous last words in Kelly's world. So I was like flitting back and forth. I had pulled out that. I'd pulled out a couple things. I was like, oh my God, which made my table even crazier. And I was like, this is insane. So anyways, the first thing I did was work on finishing up my 10 days commitment for Whip Go to Jeep Van Gogh. As you know, last week I had gotten all the way across the top. I counted down because I started to get nervous. I was like, oh shit, is it long enough? Yeah, I have about this much on the bottom, like border. It is a tight fit. That's the selvage, so you can't stitch there. So that's as much as I have on the top, and that's about as much as I have on the bottom. But I am now, so it's not quite 4 full pages down. It's like 7 across, but it's not quite 4 down. Clearly it's a rectangle. I am now into page 3 as far as length down. I am over 1% on Jeep Van Gogh. This was a complete restart on day 1. So all of this has been done within the 10 days. There are over 200,000 stitches total in Jeep Van Gogh. Like I said, we've reached 1%. It's 1% more than I had when I restarted it. And I don't have a deadline on it. It's mine. If somebody out there is good with graphics though, and like that kind of thing, the next, like I'd like to do a series of like Jeep and famous pictures. I would love to do one, you know, like the Salvador Dali's with the melting clocks. I want to do it where it's the Jeep, like my Jeep melting instead of the clocks. I don't even know where to begin to be able to do that. So yeah, maybe that one. I don't know. I'm looking for more things Jeep because I love my Jeep. Okay, so what I did decide to do this weekend, and I didn't get much stitching done, but every little bit helps and every little bit is progress, and it did count as one stitching out of the 10 days on my Whip Go board. And that is Marine Corps emblem. I did trim off my fabric because it was like twice the size, and I was like, this is stupid to have that much. As you guys know, it took me forever to get the circle stitched and meet up. Hopefully that is the hardest part of this project. And then once I got the circle stitch, I realized, shit, I did it in the wrong color because I'm Kelly. So what I did decide to do was with the right color, then do a ring just inside the circle, which will make the braided portion on the marine. The pattern's in the other room. We'll make it one stitch around like less, but I don't think that I don't think anybody's gonna be on my butt. So I finished. I haven't gone all the way around the circle, but I got quite a bit on both sides done as far as that. And then I started going in with that outer, there's a border, like that first inner ring where it looks like is it ribbon? I don't know. Anyways, I did start on that. So that's what I did this weekend, as well as sewing. But really and truly, I just I did a lot of running around on Saturday. I had an Amazon return. I mailed the thing to Jason. I went to the grocery store. I did a couple other things. Oh, here's the other thing that I did, y'all. I told you I went and did the boudoir photo shoot. You guys, the pictures came in, and some of them are fantastic, and some of them I'm like, eh. What we have figured out is, well, I don't know that we figured it out, but what has happened is that some of the pictures that we didn't really care for were really just posing issues. Now, because they are boudoir photos, I'm not going to really show you all of them because some of them are personal. But y'all, look at that. Like, can you see that? They're darn it. I don't think you can really tell. Not that one. Let's see if I can pull it. Okay. Here we go. Y'all, that's me. That's me. I showed a friend of mine and he was like, that's like model level. Here, this one. They're the proofs. So like, now for this one, honestly, I would crop, if it was cropped there, it would be perfect for me. But that was like one of the first photos that she took. So I may but their prices are insanely high, and I understand photography, like, and the cost, but what they're asking for is ridiculously high. So I got my 2 free ones, and they're supposed to send them over to me in digital prints or digital, like a digital file, so I can print them off if I want to print them off. But it's like, so I may, like, I'll probably do it again. Like, but there's a local photographer here that is a friend of a friend whose prices are much more reasonable. And she's, I think, more versed based on her portfolio that I've seen in working with plus size bodies with tiny tornadoes. And that, but like, it was a really great experience, and I would highly recommend if you have the opportunity to do something like that, where you can look at your body and yourself through a different lens. Um, and spend that day, like I went and I got my hair done. I went and, like, I did my own makeup because that was what happened, like with the weather, like with COVID and everything and precautions, that's what needed to happen. But um it was like those little pamper, like it was nice to go get my hair done. It was nice to go out and buy some like special things just for me that I felt good in. Um and to just go and kind of step out of my comfort zone and do something. So, um, you know, I'd highly recommend it. It was a lot of fun. I did appreciate the fact that I went with an all, well, it was just me and the photographer, but that it was another woman versus some guy kind of leering. Like I didn't have that self-consciousness. So, um, okay. So what are we gonna do this next week? This week, I need to study. I have lots of homework, as always. Um, we have computer, so web design. I don't think that's the web design. That's not web, but that's internet. Internet homework. We have to code our website. And I have a big chunk of that due tomorrow night. And then I have a couple ASL things to do, and we have a test coming up. Um, I think the test we may be able to take it tonight. I have to double check. I love this teacher, although we met in person last Thursday night, and he is super tall. He's like 6'5", which you don't get that sense when you're online with somebody, like how tall they are or how so. So this is our first time. We've been together all semester, this class, and this is our first time being in person, and it was so neat. Like it was really cool. Um, and I think it's much easier to learn and sign when you're together, like face to face, because like I've been doing this for me, like this is me, like mine, like my feelings, not I. This is I. So there's like I need to practice. Actually, it's practice I need. Um versus and I had been doing this, or even like the whole laptop issue. Like I thought this was laptop with your palm up. It's not. Your palm is down. So like little things like that make a huge difference when you're signing for somebody else. Um, you know, could they probably figure out what I was signing? Yes, but I want it to be accurate and I want it to be right. So, it was very weird to be in person for the first time and see everybody. So that was very cool. So we have class again this week, but we have a test. Um, so I but I think we don't go to class to do the test. It's videoed and on the computer. So I've got to sort that out. But yeah, it's crazy how fast it is. So with that, I have lots of homework. Like I said, I have mediation. I have to give my TED talk, which I know is not what it is, but hey, whatever. That's what I call it. Um, so I have a busy week. I also have a follow-up on my heart monitor incision. Y'all, it's huge. Like, I know it's not that big, but compared to previous ones, it's much bigger. And it's very, like, it's, it's, it's still settling in, and it's still sore because, I mean, we're going on 2 weeks out. So, like, it's healing just fine where it should be, but, like, I want to go, and I want to go. And my coach is like, hey, we need to get you back on the pool as soon as possible. When can you go? Like, and everything like that. And it was just like, so needless to say, again, we're going back to the scheduling our day very specifically, like class time, work, relax time. Like I'm probably one of the few people that actually has a scheduled time to relax. But like my workout will be in there, all of that. So that said, I don't know what I'm going to stitch this next week. I'd like to tell you it's probably going to be Lady of the Flag, which is probably true. But I don't know. I kind of feel like I want to keep working on Marine Corps emblem. Um, I want to pull back out the self-love sampler and get a big chunk of that done. So we'll see. We'll see. That said, I'm out of coffee, so I am drinking my water. During the day when I'm at home, I drink out of my plastic reusable Starbucks. I want to decorate this. I have a bunch of stuff I need to get through the Cricut so that I can get another project, huge stack of stuff off my desk. So yeah, if anybody ever wants to come and clean my house, you feel free. Listen, if you're willing to come clean my house, I will buy you craft supplies. Yeah. Um, I have to, oh, that's my other thing. My little St. Patrick's Day things. I finally sewed them. I need to flip them and turn them and stuff them. So maybe that'll happen. I have to work on my friend's quilt that is crazy. That's going to take a lot of handwork. But I do need to work on that. So I don't know that I may not have a whole lot of cross stitching next week to show you. I may have a whole lot of other stuff. I did also start to crochet something for my daughter. I started to crochet an axolotl, whatever, the little sea creature. I started to crochet her one. The pattern is in like British terms, so I've got to kind of do a little bit more work than I thought it would be. It's a good thing I really like her. Really love my kid. And I also have a quilt pattern I need to test. Why do I? So, for those of you who don't know, no is a complete sentence and it comes with no guilt. Or it should come with no guilt. So we are going to work on that, amongst other things. So again, make yourself your priority. Remember to love your body. It's the only one you have. So embrace it. It does amazing things. You are amazing. As always, feel free to reach out to me at His Princess Kelly on Instagram or on Facebook, or on TikTok, or I don't know. Don't be a stalker and show up at my door though, because I don't tell people where I live because I don't. I'm just weird about that. But you can feel free to make an appointment and meet me at my office. For some reason, that totally seems normal. I have a Keurig. I don't know that I have coffee at the office. I think I brought it here, though. But I do have water in my fridge at the office, so, you know, we'll make it work. So, with that said, I'll talk to you guys later. Love you. Peace out.